श्री श्री किशोर किशोरी की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेश तारिणे। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्या प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्या प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। किब जयो जयो गौरा चंदे आरती के शोभा। जानवी तट बने जगमान लोभा। जानवी तट बने जग दाखीन निताई चंद बामे गदाधर। निकटे अद्वैता श्रीनी वास छत्रधारा। निकटे अद्वैता श्रीनी वास छत्रधारा। बसी आछे गौराचंद रत्न सिंहासने बसी आछे। आरती करे न ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने। आरती करे न ब्रह्मा आदिदेव नर हरि आदि कोरी चमर ढुलाया। संजय मुकुंद बासु घोष आदि गाये। संज्ञाय मुकुंद वासु घोषादिया शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे 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 निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी वदन उज्ज्वला गल दिसे बनमाला कोरे झलमाला गल दिसे बनमाला कोरे झलमाला शिवा शुक नारद प्रेम गद गादा शिवा शुक नारद प्रेम गद गादा भक्ति विनोद देखे गोरार संपदा भक्ति विनोद देखे गोरार संपदा गौरंगीरारती के शोभा जग जन मन लोभा 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 गौरंगीरारती के शोभा जग जन मन लोभा गौरंगीरारती के शोभा जग जन मन लोभा निताई गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय, गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा रमण हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे और नित्यानंदा बोल हरि बोल और नित्यानंदा बोल हरि बोल गौर नित्यानंदा बोल हरि बोल और नित्या हरि बोल 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 गौर नित्यानंदा बोल हरि बोल गौर नित्यानंदा बोल हरि 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 बोल गौर नित्यानंदा बोल हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ, जय बलदेव, जय सुभद्रा, जय बलदेव, जय सुभद्रा, जय जगन्नाथ, जय जगन्नाथ, जय जगन्नाथ, जय जगन्नाथ, जय बलदेव, जय सुभद्रा, जय बलदेव, जय सुभद्रा, जय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय, गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय, 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 जय गौरानिताय, जय किशोर किशोरी, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव, 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 जय जय गुरुदेव, निताई गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताई गौर हरि बोल, 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 निताई गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, गौर प्रेमानंदी, हरि हरि बोल।
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंसा परिवाजक आचार्य अश्वत शता श्री श्रीमद इज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंसा परिवाजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शता श्री श्रीमद इज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपा गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री किशोर किशोरी की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। ऋषि गौर निताई की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Gauranga.
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रहलाद लाडदायिने हिरण्याकाशे पूर्वक्षः शिलटङ्कानकालाये इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह बाहिर नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह नरसिंहमदीं शरणं प्रपदे तव कलकमलवरेणकामधुतसिंहा ललिता हिरण्यकशिपो धनुप्रीञ्जाम् ते सवदेता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे कलकमलवरे कामधुतसिंहा ललिता केशवतेता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवतेता नरहरि जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल नरसिंहदेव भगवान की प्रहलाद महाराज की जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा रानी की किशोर किशोरी की श्री श्री गौर निताय की गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण
Please repeat after me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for being here with us on this Sunday evening to celebrate the Sunday feast. On behalf of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada and the team of Kishore Kishori Temple, I would like to welcome all of you for being here. Is there anybody here for the very first time? Okay. We have a small gift for you. Yeah, he'll give it. Thank you so much. Over there. Yeah, he will give to everybody. Just take it easy. There are more books here. Please raise your hands one time so that we know who all are there. You don't have to think about it whether you are here for the first time or not. So today's Sunday feast has been sponsored by Dr. Geeta Krishnan. So let's greet her with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol! Now I would like to introduce our speaker for this evening. His Grace Gaurmani Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for being here and agreeing to give the class. Gaurmani Prabhu has been a devotee for many, many decades. And in a very unique way, in south side of Chicago, he is distributing the mercy of Lord Chaitanya to many people there. He has the Hare Krishna Temple of the Heart. He and his dear wife Shyamdevi Mataji, they are very nicely doing this service to please for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhu will be speaking about the God's mercy. So not only he's distributing the mercy of the Lord in south side of Chicago, he's going to do that here as well. So let's welcome him with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol! Please make sure that your cell phones are switched off and we listen to him. Thank you.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Namaste Sasunyavare Vyaskatare Sitarine Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Savitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamiyam Dadati Svapadantikam Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamiyam Dati Svapadantikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Srila Dvaita Gadadhara Sri Vasade Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Good afternoon. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. I offer my humble obeisances to each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Oh boy, it's an honor to be here. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. All glory to my Guru Maharaj and Jujuna Swami. All glory to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaiva Cha Patitanam Pavanavyo Vaishnavavyo Namo Namaha. So I ask for your blessings here today so that I can be able to say something that will help you along the way. I did see that we had a few people that are here for the first time. How many people have been here less than 10 times? Raise your hand. Okay, so we got a mix. How many people have been here more than 10 years? Raise your hand. Okay, so I don't want to go too deep, too fast, because I don't want to lose anyone. This is the month we celebrate Lord Nrsingadev's appearance day. And this is the last Sunday of the month, so they just asked me to say something about Lord Nrsingadev. And I thought about it after listening to so many people talk about Lord Nrsingadev. What can I say? You know, what is there left? But there's always the Lord's mercy we can talk about. The Lord's mercy. It goes everywhere. We have to be able to open our eyes to see it. And we beg and pray for those eyes that are imbued with love, because that's what Krishna is all about. If you want to know Krishna, you got to love him. If you want to love Krishna, you got to be sincere. It's as simple as that, but it's not easy. To begin with the Lord's mercy, let's talk about briefly the four Kumars. These are little boys. Well, they're older, but they never took a body older than a 5-year-old kid. And so they had gone to Vaikuntha. They had gone to see the Lord. And there was two gatekeepers called Jai and Vijay. And they didn't recognize them as Vaishnavas. And so the four Kumars cursed Jai and Vijay. Wow, you don't want to get a curse from a devotee, from a Brahmana. That's one of the worst things. So Krishna immediately comes on the scene to try to mitigate the problem, but at the same time, they both were his devotees. The four Kumars were his devotees. Jai and Vijay was his devotees. So he could, because Krishna can do what he wants to do, but he didn't take the curse away that the four Kumars had given. But what he did do, he asked Jai and Vijay, because they were going to have to take birth in the material world. That was the curse. So it was like something like maybe 100. I'm not exactly sure how many births they would take, 100 births or something like that. And Krishna asked them, well, if you don't want to take those many births before you come back, how about if you take 3 births as demons? And say, how many people would take the births as demons? How many people would take the 100 births and not be a demon? That seems logical, right? But a real devotee wants to see Krishna as soon as he can. So they agreed to take the 3 demoniac births. And so that's where you see over here in the picture, Lord Nrsingadev is killing Hiranyakasipu. That was his 3rd birth. So that was mercy. The Lord's mercy is really deep at times, and sometimes it's just so simple. So I got some notes here that I would like to speak from. And I'm probably going to ask you some questions to make this interactive, because I think that's a good way to learn. Hiranyakasipu had a wife named Kayadhu. And she went to Narada Muni's ashram. So my question is, why was she in Narada Muni's ashram? For those, let me back up a little bit. For those of you who don't know, Narada Muni received the Lord's mercy. His mother was a servant and she happened to be in service around the devotees. And Narada Muni heard the discourses on Bhagavatam and the scriptures while he was in the womb of his mother. So he got the Lord's mercy. He came out a pure soul. The Lord's mercy is everywhere you are. Open your eyes and see it. Grab it. Pray for it. It's here, it's there, it's real. But Hiranyakashipu's wife was in the ashram of Narada Muni because she was pregnant by Hiranyakashipu. And the demigods were afraid that they were going to have this demon, big demon, born from her womb. So they were going to destroy her and the baby. Narada Muni came on the scene and rescued her. Basically, that's what happened. He gave her instructions on spiritual knowledge. And who was in her womb? None other than Prahlad Maharaj. That was mercy for Prahlad Maharaj to hear Narada Muni's instructions within the womb of his mother. And when I was reading it, it was saying that Prahlad, although a small baby within the womb, listened very carefully. That's what we need to do. And it made me think about Srila Prabhupada, our founder, Acharya. His spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, said that Srila Prabhupada was a good listener. Some of the devotees came up and asked him, why wouldn't he tell Srila Prabhupada to do some service? And he says, he's a good listener. He'll do it in due time. So, Sarvanam Kirtanam, hearing and speaking the glories of the Lord. Those are two of the pillars of devotional service. My notes here say, the spirit soul, although the spirit soul is always apart from the material body, there's no change in the spiritual form of the living entity. Any person above the bodily conception of life is pure and can receive transcendental knowledge. This transcendental knowledge is devotional service, and Prahlad Maharaj, while living in the womb of his mother, received instructions in devotional service from Narada Muni. Any person engaged in the service of the Lord through the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master is immediately liberated. Did you catch that? Any person engaged in spiritual and devotional service, guided by a spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master, is already liberated. Sometimes we forget and we down ourselves. We come up with some negative idea of how fallen we are. Devotees aren't fallen, first of all. I mean, we can be humble, and we should be humble. We have to be humble. But devotees aren't fallen. The fortune that comes with this Krishna consciousness that Srila Prabhupada has so mercifully given us, we can't understand it. Another thing that comes to my mind is we have a spiritual body, and what is that spiritual body made of? What makes the spiritual body? Anybody know? We talked about this once before, but it's been a while since I've been up here. It comes from devotional service. You want to find out who you really are? Do you? Anybody want to find out who they really are? Not very many people. If you want to find out who you really are, engage in devotional service. That's the magic. That's the beginning, that's the be-all, the end-all of our Krishna consciousness. Because in devotional service, what do? We stop trying to serve ourselves, and we want to serve and please Krishna. That's the only purpose of us being here. Because to love Krishna is part of our nature. We've forgotten. So when we begin to remember our love for Krishna, then we begin to serve him. We serve each other. We serve the devotees. We're going to get into this about the Lord's mercy and how it appears. My notes say that the spiritual master, or anybody that's serving the spiritual master, is immediately liberated, and being freed from the clutches of Maya, he is relieved of all ignorance and material desires. The duty of everyone is to take shelter of the Supreme Lord and thus become free from all material desires. That's one that's hard, too, for us. Because why? When we start to engage in service, then we want to sometimes do it for ulterior motives. I want to do I want to do devotional service. I come to the temple. Why? Because I want a job. Or I want a husband. I want a good husband. I come to the temple to see the devotees and the Lord because I want some knowledge. Or I come to the temple and try to do some service because I'm destitute. I have no place else to go. I have no job. I have no money. I'm sleeping on the park bench. It's better to go to the temple. Those are all material motives. That's good. Don't get me wrong. Krishna says there's 4 types of people that come to him. If I can remember them. The destitute, those that want wealth, those that are inquisitive for knowledge, and those that really want to know about the absolute truth. So that's good. And you got to start somewhere, right? So start wherever you are right now. Surrender. Surrender to Krishna. Totally. And don't be afraid. He's not going to let you go. He's not going to give up on you, no matter how many mistakes you make. I explained this. It's a crude example, but to a devotee once, and he really got it. I'm going to share it with you. I don't know how many of you people have gone fishing with a line and a hook. My parents raised me that way. I used to go fishing. And the fish, when you put the bait on the hook, put it in the water, the fish bites it, the hook grabs him in his jaw, and you pull him out. That's how we are. Once we start sincerely surrendering to Krishna, we're like the fish on the end of that line. We might be kicking and screaming and fighting, but Krishna is not going to let us go. He wants us more than we want him. And he knows if we're sincere. You can't fool him. You can't play it off, like I'm a good guy externally, but internally I'm not so good. We've got anarthas or unwanted things within our hearts and minds, all of us, and we want to get rid of them. But we can look outwardly as the perfect example of a pure devotee. But inside, we're not. And we like to blame other people for their shortcomings. instead of blaming ourselves for our own shortcomings and dealing with that. The Muslims have a word that they use, they call jihad, and it's been perverted a lot nowadays, where people want to kill the so-called infidels, those people that are not true to their beliefs, whoever these people are that believe this way. But jihad really means it's not someone else that you're fighting against. You have to fight against yourself. You have to clean yourself up. And that's what we all need to do. And what does that? In essence, it's the devotional service. So wherever you are, if you're going to school like a little kid, you go to school, you do your best in school, but you do it for what? You do it to please Krishna. You don't do it to please your mom and dad. You do it to please Krishna. That puts you on a transcendental level. And that's what we want to be. That's what we're here for, to transcend. Dad, you go to work. You don't go to work for your family. You go to work for Krishna. You take care of your family for Krishna. That transcends you. That brings you out of the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And what happens when you do devotional service that way? Krishna's mercy comes. He's already there as Paramatma. That's another one. Krishna's mercy. Hiranyakasipu's enemy, Lord Nrsimhadev. He appears as Paramatma. Anybody doesn't know what Paramatma is? If I say that word, do I need to explain it? Paramatma is Krishna's expansion. He loves us so much that when we come into the material world, he comes with us. There's a couple of examples I could give you. One I'll give you, something my father used to say all the time to me and my family. He would say, one mind told me to do this. And you may have experienced this. One mind told me to do this. And if he followed that one mind, he was always going to be in the right situation. If he mentally thought about it and did something else, that was always the wrong decision. That's Paramatma, Krishna, talking to us within our own hearts and mind. He gives us these inspiration, and we have to learn to hear his voice as opposed to listening to the voice of the mind itself. Because why? Because the mind is our enemy. Most of the time, it's our enemy. It can be a friend and channeled and taught, trained the right way. But the mind is really basically our enemy because the mind brings us into a new body every time we die. Why? Because the mind captures the images, it remembers the karmic, it stores the karmic reactions. And so in order to be reborn, we forget our past embodiment, our past life. We get put into another body, and our karma comes along with us. It's kind of pitiful because we do it over and over again, over and over again. The purpose of being in this human form now, though, is to have these kinds of discussions to understand that we can stop this cycle of birth and death. There's no glory in this body. the things that we strive so hard for and struggle for to enjoy. We enjoy for a minute and then we don't get that enjoyment any longer. And we go from one thing to another. Okay, today I love my job. Next year I hate my job, so I'll get a new job. And we go through this cycle. Like a little kid that plays with toys. They'll play with one toy, get tired of that one, get another one. Get tired of that one and get another one. That's the way we are in the material world. And it's all temporary. And why I say it's sad and pitiful is because we're eternal beings. Here's something else as I think about this. Because I hear people, by me getting older, I guess I'm more acutely aware of death than I used to be when I was young. And I see a lot of posts on Facebook, or I hear people talking about their deceased relatives or their loved ones, and they say, "Rest in heaven, I'm going to see you in heaven." It's a common understanding nowadays. People say this all the way, all around. "I'll see you in heaven." But this is something a little deep that we need to understand. The identity that we have now, today, when we die, we lose that identity, period. Give you an example. We got Chicago on Broadway here, where they have these plays. And if you're an actor in a play, you play your part, you get off the stage, and you still have your own identity. That's the way we are in these bodies. We're playing a part on the stage, our field of activities that we have. And then when we die, this person no longer exists. So even if we meet someone that we had some interaction with in a previous life, we don't know them. Sometimes we get a feeling like, "Oh, I know this person from somewhere," some person you never saw before. That's just an impression, but you don't know. Even if it's true, you don't know who, what, where, or anything like that. You have no details. So if I think I'm an African-American man, I may never be in this body again. So if somebody's looking for me in heaven or any place else, they'll never find me. You can believe that. It's just not going to happen. So we don't want to be lost believing things that are untrue. How many people believe they're eternal beings? First of all, not many. That's something that needs to be talked about. Krishna talks about it in the Bhagavad Gita, where he says a person shouldn't be bewildered by this. But we've had, those of you that don't realize your eternity, I'm going to ask a few questions. Do you realize that you had a body of an embryo? Anybody? You know you had an embryonic body? Science will tell us that. We had a body that was an infant. Anybody realize that? Do you remember? Good for you. Because most people don't. To be an embryo, to be an infant, when you were 1 or 2 years old, do you remember what you did? Do you remember? Good, you're smart. Now we got a young child's body. We begin to remember. We get older, we get a teenage body, a youth body, a teenage body, or we get older, we get to be an adult. We got an adult body, but we lost the embryonic body. We lost the infant body. We lost the young child's body. Can we see this progression that's going on? But we're what? We're still the same being. As these bodies change, we don't change. We may think we change if we're captured by our mind, captivated by our own mind, then we identify with it as being us when it's not us. So when we leave the body, that's us leaving the body. The only difference between a live body and a dead body is if we're there or not. If we're not there, what happens? All those people that love us, they get rid of us in a few days. They get rid of the body in a few days. But they love you so much, but they don't mind shipping you off. We shouldn't be bewildered by these changes of body, Krishna says. Let's go back to these notes. The Lord is the cause of everything, and therefore he is the cause of this creation. One should therefore always engage in devotional service by offering respectful obeisances to the Lord, offering prayers, working for the Lord, worshiping the Lord in the temple, always remembering the Lord, and always hearing about his transcendental activities. Without these 6 kinds of activity, one cannot attain to devotional service. In Bhagavad Gita 7:16, Krishna says, O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. So I kind of talked about this. I'm going to read it though, just to reiterate. Initiation into bhakti begins when one is in a distressed condition or in want of money, or when one is inquisitive and or is searching for knowledge of the absolute truth. Nonetheless, people who approach the Supreme Lord in this way are not actually devotees. They are accepted as pious due to their inquiring about the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not knowing the various activities and engagements of the Lord, such people unnecessarily disturb the Lord for material gain. Why would we want to disturb the Lord, who's got so many important things to do, with material gain? We don't know. We do it all the time, though. He fulfills the desires. So we want to enjoy in the material world. He gives us the facility to do that. He doesn't want us to be in this material world, but we want to be. We want to be here. We want to do this. Why? Because of whatever reason your mind comes up with. We're addicted, just like an addict, like an alcoholic. We are addicted to being here and trying to fulfill material desires. And we need to stop it. And I'm glad you're all here in rehab. We're in rehab here, you all. Believe me, we're in rehab. And Krishna is so beautiful. His mercy is so beautiful that he's got us. When I say he's got us, I mean he really has us. He's going to make sure that we make it if we're sincere. Prabhupada has given so much mercy. Talking about the Lord's mercy, you got to talk about Srila Prabhupada. No one, nowhere, anywhere, shall I say, is more merciful than Srila Prabhupada. He's given us this knowledge. He goes to bat for us. He believes in us when we don't believe in ourselves. After Nrsimhadev killed Hiranyakasipu, Shri Prahlad's father, he came out of this pillar, this stone pillar. The Lord's mercy. The Lord is in every atom, not just in every heart of every living being, but he expands himself into every atom. So there's no place where Krishna is not. And if we think that way, it's only us not being able to see. I got a car parked on Clark Street. I can't see it, but I know it's there. Or I'm on a road trip going somewhere. I can't see it, but I know I got to follow these white lines, these yellow lines. And with the right direction, I'm going to get where I'm going. So that's what we need to do. We need to follow the process. Follow the yellow lines. Keep going. You're on the train. Don't get off the train. Just stay on the train. You're going to make the destination. Do you all hear me? You're going to make it. Believe. Krishna says that just forget it. Categorically, just forget it. Surrender to me, and I got you. It's hard to do it because we don't have examples, many examples, I should say, of somebody that really loves us that much. No one loves us more than Krishna. So when he killed Hiranyakasipu, all the demigods had come to see that form because they had never seen the form. Krishna took his Lord Nrsimhadev. They were on the set. Lakshmi Deva, who's always with the Lord, she was on the set. But everybody was afraid to approach the Lord in that form. So the creator, Brahma, he approaches Prahlad and says, you approach him. You calm him down. And what quality did he have? Prahlad sincerely loved the Lord. He sincerely knew that the Lord would take care of him. He had already taken care of him so many times. I think it was 7 times. His father tried to kill him. He was saved. The Lord saved him. So now all of a sudden, everybody's afraid, but his devotee is not afraid. That's where we have to be like. We have to be just like this little child, Prahlad, in love with Krishna. Know that Krishna is our only shelter. We have no other place to hang our hats. Nothing in the material world can save us. Even when we go to the demigods for benedictions, Krishna supplies the benedictions that the demigods bestow. So just go to Krishna. Here's an interesting paragraph here. Prahlad said, I'm not proud of being able to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I simply take shelter of the mercy of the Lord, for without devotion, one cannot appease him. One cannot please the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by dint of high parentage or great opulence, learning, austerity, penance, or mystic power. Indeed, these are never pleasing to the Supreme Lord, for nothing can please him but pure devotional service. Even if a non-devotee is a Brahmin, qualified with the 12 Brahminical symptoms, he cannot be very dear to the Lord. Whereas, if a person born in a family of dog eaters is a devotee, the Lord can accept his prayers. The Lord does not need anyone's prayers, but if a devotee offers his prayers to the Lord, the devotee benefits greatly. Ignorant persons born in low families, therefore, can sincerely offer heartfelt prayers to the Lord, and the Lord will accept them. As soon as one offers his prayers to the Lord, he is immediately situated in the Brahmin platform. I'm going to raise my hand on this one, you all, because I'm that person. I was born in a family that had no clue of what to do in the material world. We ate dead bodies. Like I told you, my father taught me to fish. But somehow I got Srila Prabhupada and the devotees' mercy. I was on State between Lake and Randolph Street one day, and I happened to run into a devotee. Krishna's mercy. So a little boy like me, living on the west side of Chicago, I got a Back to Godhead magazine. And when I read it, I knew this was it. Because I had studied several different religions. I had studied at the Theosophical Society, Madame Blavatsky's teachings. I had gone down to the I Am Temple to study Saint Germain's teachings. But I got this Back to Godhead, and it was different than anything I had ever read in my life. I was questioning, sincerely questioning. Krishna's mercy brought the devotee and me together. I got Prabhupada's mercy. I got a Back to Godhead magazine. So somehow, that mercy has totally changed me. I'm not the person I was then. I wouldn't go back to that life for anything in the world other than to serve Krishna. But on my own, I wouldn't take it. And I'm so glad that I got the mercy. Lord Nrsingadev appeared for the benefit of all human society, not only for Prahlad's personal benefit. The fierce form of Lord Nrsingadev may appear most awful to a non-devotee, but to the devotee of the Lord is always affectionate as he is in other forms. Quick story. I brought my wife to this temple for the first time 20-something years ago. She saw Nrsimhadev killing Hiranyakasipu on the wall. And the first thing she asked me was, what have I gotten myself into? But it was something in her heart where she didn't run away. And I thank you for it, Shamapriya. I really do. Thank you. It's really difficult for a Westerner. It's difficult for anybody, but for a Westerner to become Krishna conscious sincerely, it's no simple task. And we don't have much time, so I'm going to shorten this, what I was going to say, to talk to us as devotees. What we need to do, we need to do more devotional service. That's what we need to do. We need to go out these doors, give the holy name. We need to go out these doors, make friends with these strangers, bring them into our family of devotees. This mercy, the Lord's mercy, has become each and every one of us. Each of us is part of the Lord's mercy now. Krishna loves the devotees that gives him to others. To sit and meditate, to sit and get knowledge, jnana. That's not pleasing to Krishna. Pleasing Krishna is our only reason for being. When we do that, we're automatically taken care of. When we surrender to Krishna, he's automatically taking care of us. Believe it. Believe it. And then when you believe it, act on it. Whatever situation you're in right now, like the little fellow here, the little young lady here, you go to school, right? When you're at school, be like Prahlad Maharaj. Talk about Krishna to your friends. That's all you have to do. Don't be afraid to talk about Krishna. It's simple, but it's not easy. But once you start to doing it, then you get this momentum going, you get this uplift because you realize, I can do it. We want to be the instrument that Krishna uses to help people in this Kali Yuga, this age of quarrel and ignorance. We got the knowledge. We've been given the mercy. Give it away. This is something my wife taught me too. It is, the more you give, the more you have to give. So whatever we think is valuable, whatever we got going on, is what it is. If you want more, give it away. You want more of Krishna? Give Krishna to other people. You get the mercy from our Guru Parampara. That's the Parampara is our disciple guru lineage. When I use that word, it's the lineage that we come from. Our denomination comes from the Creator himself, Lord Brahma. This lineage is so powerful. It's on the absolute plane. It's not relative. Relative means, okay, it'll hold true today, but some other time it won't be true. This is absolute. The more you do that, the more you listen to Paramatma talking to you, the more you're able to follow, the more you can feel your liberation. Because we can be liberated and not realize it because we think the same old way. Let's do this, you all. We owe it to Srila Prabhupada. Together, wherever we are. If you got to go to work, something comes up, talk about Krishna. People are talking about all the children that was killed in the school down in Texas this whole week. You can't turn the news on without them talking about it. Why? They want to know why. What karma did these people all have in common? We always ask, why do good things happen to bad people? I mean, bad things happen to good people. I got it twisted. That's why, because of the karma that they have brought with them in this embodiment. Time's up. If you have any questions, I'll entertain them for a few minutes and then that's it. Sorry. We'll continue this discussion at another time. Thank you for listening and paying attention. I appreciate it. Glory to Prabhupada.
This is what makes the devotee special, that whatever mercy and love they get from Krishna and from other devotees, they give it to others. And that is the essence of life, to give it to others. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Dinner prasadam will be lunch boxed. You can go and pick up your box between now and 7 o'clock. We will have kirtan in the temple room. So please collect your prasadam boxes and come back to participate in the prasadam. We have some very nice kirtan here.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Also, another important thing which I wanted to mention about Gaurmani Prabhu and Ramanpriya Mataji is the participation in Bud Bilikan parade. So for many, many years, how many years now?
It's about 20 now.
More than 20 years, he had been participating in the Bud Bilikan parade, in which we have Lord Jagannath, and Lord Jagannath participates, courtesy Gaurmani Prabhu, in Bud Bilikan parade, distributing his mercy to each and everybody in the United States. So thank you so much for helping us out.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Haribol, brother.
I have. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Jai Kishore Kishori, Jai Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Jai Gauranitai, Hari Hari Bol.
This is Jay. You could join us. She's all part of why we're going to hurry now, so you could join us.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Already asked.
Yeah, we need some more. That was awesome. Thank you for playing. I feel like
Harry,
the bass makes me. I feel like I'm playing.
I'm teaching her we're done, so we're going to play. She's going to play. No, she'll play. Just play card sax. And help me sing too, because it's high pitch. Huh? I don't know. Do you prefer it? Huh? Let's switch sides. Right. Help me sing too. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Raman, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Hurry roll. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Huh? All right, go. Oh, pie next. Hare Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Ramana Ki Jai. Who's on the list? Huh? Did you want to chant? You could chant them. Nobody's on the list. You have to go. Did you want to chant another one? I'll pick you. Oh, you want to? Hold up. We have to make sure nobody's on the list.
There's a list?
Yes.
Yeah, it's VIP. I wasn't part of it.
Oh, wow.
It was just, no.
I thought I could just jump on it. Freestyle.
I leave for some time.
So then, you want me to play a harmonium?
Yes.
You have to go. All right, cool. Good job.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Okay. Okay. The whole thing, okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम
Goes at 7:16.
हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे
Got a press it.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Harinam Harinam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Radhe Radhe Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Gora, Gora! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Radhe 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Radhe Radhe राधे गोविंदा जय राधे गोविंदा बोलो 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 राधे गोविंदा जय राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा जय राधे गोविंदा बाजे राधे गोविंदा जय राधे गोविंदा राधे 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 गोविंदा राधे 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 गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा जय राधे गोविंदा बोलो राधे गोविंदा जय राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा जय राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा जय राधे गोविंदा गोविंदा हरे गोपाल हरे गोविंदा हरि गोपाल हरे गोविंदा हरि गोपाल हरे गोविंदा हरि गोपाल हरे गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरे गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरे जय जय सच्चिनंदन गौरा हरे जय जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरे जय जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरे गौर 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 हरे गौरा 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 हरे जय जय सच्चिनंदन गौरा हरे जय जय सच्चिनंदन गौरा हरे जय जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gora, Harinam. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Chan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant and be happy. Harinam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Oh Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. 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 Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Follow Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Oh Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda 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 Govinda. Govinda 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 Govinda. जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमन हरे गोविंद जय जय ओ राधा रमन हरे गोविंद जय जय राधा रमन हरे गोविंद जय जय राधे राधे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी हाँ किशोर किशोरी बोलो किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी किशोर किशोर जया किशोर किशोरी किशोर किशोरी जया किशोर किशोरी जय जय जगन्नाथ जय जय जगन्नाथ बोलो जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिताई जय गौरानिताई जय गौरानिताई जय गौरानिताई जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा निताई गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल गौरा मिठाई गौरा हरि बोल गौरा हरि बोल। श्री जुगाधर्म हरि नाम संकीर्तन जग्या की। निताई गौरा प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल। समावेत भक्त वृंद की गौरा प्रेमानंदी। हरे कृष्ण।